Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Wednesday afternoon, March 29th. And we are looking at Window Trader's market profile of the ES and SPY. So I'll tell you what, kudos to the bulls. Very, very powerful day to the upside as we're up almost 1.5%. But even with this move, holding the gap, going out with a trend day, going out with a price spike, price probe, bottom line is this: we're still in balance. We got close to a balance high now, basically on both the weekly and the daily. So with some big numbers coming out both tomorrow morning and Friday morning, we're going to see if we're just running some buyers into trouble here at the top of the balance, or they're going to finally get through it and eliminate this lower high trend line this year that started again like the one we had all of last year. NQ goes out with a gap that held. Afternoon pullback in H, a 9-wide point of control, and a price spike in H. Now, they had single prints too, but they filled them late in M. We held ours barely in SPY and ES on our third attempt to go trend. And they also probed NQ. Righty goes out. Inside day up. Was it really a success? Not really, but they did finally probe a little bit late in the day. They go out 11 wide. They filled their gap. ES and SPY, we hold our gap by over $2. We have a nice afternoon pullback low in J. We end 9 wide. We have a trend day up with 2 ticks in single prints and 5 cents in SPY. Price spike above H. We probe, but I'm not going to use L's high because there's only about 28 cents higher M period from L's high, so I'm not going to use that. To me, it's really H's high is the real important one as far as I'm concerned. As far as for tomorrow, that the buyers want to hold. That's where change took place today, above H's high. For us, not for Righty. Righty didn't really have change take place, but for NQ also, above H's high. That's what you want to hold. Now, for the most part, what did we do so far the last 5 trading days? And the answer is not much. This is Fed Day from a week ago. We battled, remember, last Wednesday after the Fed announcement and when he started his press conference, this market tried to go higher, only to absolutely fail. And since that day, we never saw this again. Well, today, it took a long time battling it, but do you notice once we got above where that level was, they tried to really push to the balance high. Didn't get there, so now it remains to be seen if we get there tomorrow. I had an okay day today, only took 9.5 points out of it. And that was, I didn't do anything in KL or M, but even with this very tight range, and by the way, today's range is the second smallest of the year. Yesterday was the smallest. It would have been the smallest except M probed. So even though the market had a good day today, it is a very tight range, and the volume wasn't that great. Okay, it's going to be below average. But there was still opportunities even before this push up in KL and M. I took advantage of it a little bit, certainly not as much as I should have. And boy, oh boy, I didn't take advantage of that pullback in J. I took a long in B period because I certainly didn't expect to go trend down initially when we one time frame down. And I did okay on that. Same in C. Now we did go trend, but I had taken a 1 lot early. I made a couple of points out of it. Didn't do a lot. Should have taken a long again in D against C's low. Because again, just like yesterday when I took that long, right? Because I didn't think we were going to hold trend and J couldn't take out I and we filled the singles and then look what we did. Same thing today. D couldn't take out C low. Poor low, by the way, 2 days in a row for ES, not for SPY. D couldn't take out C, and then look what we did. Filled it and went up and made new highs on the day. So I should have took that long again in D. I did not take it, actually. I actually had a short in D for a quick small 2 points, but I should have had a long in D to fill those singles. Then I did take a long in G, thinking this could be our pullback. Made small on it. Again in I, made small on it. This is the one I should have started because when you look at it, it was only a 5 points worth of heat to a new low. Should have started here, and then if it pulled back to add, and then if it didn't pull back, I should have at least rode, whatever I would have had, but I didn't take anything. So again, there's no excuse not to have that long in J period in ES or SPY for that matter. Okay? NQ never got below H's low, which is their afternoon pullback. So again, I'll take 9.5 points. Nothing wrong with that. And tomorrow I'll look for better opportunities that I like better. And the reason I didn't get involved in KL&M, after being 9 wide and everything, I wasn't sure if they really were going to attempt to go trend. Well, obviously they did, and they held it barely, but they held it. So, and then as we got closer to a balance high, I was like, well, let them kill themselves, and we'll see what tomorrow brings after the GDP comes out at 8:30 tomorrow morning. As far as destinations, upside today, 401.60 is the daily high, and then 402.49 is our weekly high and pretty much balance high, right? For the downside, we have single prints. They start at 400.76, get filled at 71. M's low to K's high, 5 cents. But then the real important one is H's high, 400.45, which is our price spike. 399.93, 9 wide today at E's high. 399.23 afternoon pullback low, that's J's low. And today's low of 398.68 daily low and filling the gap at 396.49. That's a 219-point gap. Please write those down. In ES, upside 61 1/4 today's high, 73.75 weekly high. For the downside, we have 49.50 up. Actually, the single prints first, 52.50 to 1/4, 2 ticks. Then our price spike of 49.50. Then 9 wide of 44 1/4. And then today's afternoon pullback of 37 1/4. And today's low of 32 and filling the gap at 09.50. Okay? And then let's just look at the charts quickly. So here's the weekly. I'm using last week's high kind of as our balance high. But I'm not even so sure on that. Probably the balance high for me on the weekly would be 407.45. But we'll see what happens. First of all, we have to change the daily before the weekly can change. So if the daily balance is definitely last week's high, 402.49. That's the other... That would probably be my weekly balance high. But if we take out 402.49 in SPY, that would absolutely put the daily up if we're able to do that either tomorrow or Friday. So for now, it's still a 7-day balance for me. Okay? Now we are above all 3 of our moving averages, but we haven't taken out that balance high yet on the daily. This is critical. And the reason I think that, and again, I've said this a lot of times, if we take that out, the lower highs in the daily are going to stop for the most part. Now, again, I'd like to see them really take out 407.45 at some point. All right? Because, that's kind of the progression. Here, here, here. Yes, I am using here. So if we take it out, we are kind of stopping it. But you want to see them really stop it. And on the weekly, to me, taking out last week's high, that is not... I guess you can use that as a lower high, but I think this one is the real important one. So if we're able to get above that 408 level in SPY, not only are you going to be up firmly in the weekly and daily at that point, you put those lower highs to rest, and believe it or not, I think we can really get some legs and test last August high of around the 432 level. That would be my next really big destination going forward if we're able to get that accomplished. Again, does the GDP and PCE totally derail this move and we rotate back to the bottom of the balance? Or does it propel them and finally get the bulls going again like they were going early in February? All remains to be seen. I hope you had a good day trading today. Thanks for the likes and subscribing to this YouTube channel. Enjoy your evening, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.